Welcome to History in 10 Minutes. New York did not become modern by control. It did not wait for permission. At the turn of the 20th century, New York chose speed over order, height over harmony, and ambition over restraint. This is the story of the city that refused limits and changed the meaning of urban life forever. While London adapted and Paris redesigned, New York exploded. This is the story of how chaos, competition, and relentless ambition built the first truly vertical city. By the end of the 19th century, New York was under immense pressure. Millions arrived through its ports, carrying hopes, fear, and urgency. Immigrants poured into the city faster than housing, sanitation, and transport could respond. Tenement buildings filled beyond capacity. Families crowded into narrow rooms. Streets overflowed with people, carts, noise, and movement. The city expanded outward as far as it could, and then stopped. Manhattan had reached its physical limits. Water surrounded it. Land was finite. There was no room left to spread. For most cities, this would have meant restraint. For New York, it meant invention. Instead of slowing down, the city made a radical choice. It rejected horizontal growth altogether. If New York could not grow wider, it would grow taller. Steel, elevators, and ambition combined to change the skyline. The city did not retreat from pressure. It turned pressure into momentum and began building upward without hesitation. As Manhattan filled, land became the most valuable resource in the city. Every remaining plot was contested. Space was no longer measured by width or distance. It was measured by height. The logic of the city shifted. Stone walls gave way to steel frames. Load-bearing limits disappeared. Elevators replaced staircases, turning vertical travel into something routine. What had once been impractical suddenly became efficient. Height was no longer an obstacle. It was an advantage. Developers understood this immediately. The higher a building rose, the more power it signaled. The more rent it could command, the more attention it attracted. Buildings began to compete openly. Each new structure aimed to surpass the last. Taller, bolder, more visible. There was no central authority guiding this transformation. No master plan outlining how tall the city should become. No shared vision of balance or restraint. There was only competition. New York did not pause to ask whether height would change the character of the city. It did not debate the long-term consequences. It asked a simpler question: how fast can we build higher? Steel skeletons climbed upward at unprecedented speed. Cranes reshaped the skyline month by month. What once seemed extreme quickly became normal. The skyline rose not as a symbol of harmony, but as a record of ambition colliding with opportunity. In New York, vertical growth was not an architectural style. It was an attitude, and as buildings climbed higher, the city itself began to redefine what a modern metropolis could look like. Not spread across the land, but stacked toward the sky. Unlike Paris, New York was never shaped by a single vision imposed from above. It grew from the ground up, driven by markets, money, and relentless momentum. Decisions were made in response to pressure, not theory. Infrastructure followed demand rather than order. When streets clogged, solutions appeared beneath them. Subway tunnels were carved through rock and soil under an already crowded city, forcing engineers to adapt to chaos rather than eliminate it. Bridges stretched across rivers not because they fit a grand design, but because the city needed relief. Each new connection absorbed pressure, only to create more movement, more density, and more demand. Rules came later. Zoning laws were introduced after problems became unavoidable. Regulation followed consequences. New York learned by breaking itself, and then repairing just enough to keep moving. Traffic tangled into constant congestion. Neighborhoods collided without clear boundaries. Noise became part of daily life. Nothing ever felt finished. Yet productivity surged. Despite its disorder, the city functioned. Work continued. Trade expanded. Opportunity multiplied. New York demonstrated something radical. A city did not need harmony to thrive. It did not need symmetry or careful balance. It needed energy. The unfinished nature of New York became its defining feature. Systems overlapped, solutions remained temporary, improvisation replaced perfection. Where Paris enforced order through design, New York absorbed chaos and turned it into motion. The city did not wait to be complete before it began to work. It moved forward while still under construction, and in doing so, New York redefined what a modern city could be. Not a finished plan, but a living system constantly adjusting to its own intensity. The vertical city created clear winners, and it left many others behind. As buildings climbed higher, life at street level grew more crowded. Tenement houses filled entire blocks, packing families into narrow rooms with little light and poor ventilation. Privacy disappeared. Air and sunlight became luxuries rather than expectations. Safety was uncertain. Fires spread quickly. Accidents were common. Illness moved easily through tightly packed spaces. Work was everywhere, but it was unforgiving. Factories, docks, offices, and construction sites demanded constant effort. Hours were long. Pay was fragile. Missing a day of work could mean falling behind permanently. In New York, time was no longer measured by daylight or seasons. It was measured by productivity. Time became money. Rest became optional. The city moved fast. Faster than most cities had ever moved before. And for many people, it moved too fast to keep up. Yet they stayed. They stayed in overcrowded rooms and noisy streets because New York offered something rare. Possibility. The promise was never comfort. It was opportunity. The chance, however small, that effort could turn into advancement. New York did not guarantee success. But it offered motion. And for millions, motion mattered more than stability. The city's pace was exhausting, uneven, and often cruel. But it created a belief that life could change. In New York, hardship was the price of momentum, and for those willing to pay it, the city kept moving forward, without waiting for anyone to catch their breath. By the early years of the 20th century, New York had created something the world had never seen before. A city defined not by balance or symmetry, but by height, density, and motion. Its skyline told a new story. Buildings no longer spread outward. They rose upward, stacking ambition, layer upon layer. Cities around the world began to pay attention. Architects studied New York's steel frames and elevators. Developers copied its financial districts. Skyscrapers appeared in distant cities, carrying the same vertical logic. New York transformed height into a language of power. Density became efficiency. Movement became identity. The city proved that harmony was not a requirement for growth. A city did not need calm streets or careful order to thrive. It needed energy, constant, relentless, and expanding. But that energy came with a demand. Everything had to adjust continuously. Infrastructure chased growth without ever fully catching it. Rules evolved after problems appeared. Solutions remained temporary. New York became a city always in motion, never finished, never settled. Its strength was also its instability. The model it created was powerful, but demanding. Cities that followed its path learned the same lesson. When ambition becomes vertical, progress accelerates. But so does pressure. New York showed the modern world what was possible when a city chose momentum over control. And once that model existed, it could not be ignored. London adapted because it had to survive. Paris redesigned itself in the name of order and control. New York chose a different path. It refused to slow down. The city accepted chaos, risk, and inequality as the cost of momentum. It did not wait for balance. It did not pause to reflect on consequences. It moved forward first and adjusted later. New York never asked what it should become. It allowed ambition to decide. Finance, industry, labor, and invention all surged at once, colliding into a single, restless force. The result was not harmony. It was acceleration. New York taught the modern world a final lesson about cities. Urban life did not have to be carefully planned to function. It did not need perfect design to grow. Cities could be planned. Cities could be redesigned. Or cities could be unleashed. New York showed what happened when limits were removed. Growth became vertical, time compressed, pressure intensified. Once a city accepted momentum as its guiding principle, there was no clear way to contain it. Only to respond, to build higher, to move faster, and to keep adapting to the speed it had created. In New York, modern urban life reached its most extreme form. And from that moment on, every city had to decide which path it would follow. Control, design, or momentum. There was no longer a neutral option.